Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Pale Blue Mama, but you can call me Amanda. So about a year ago, I made a video talking about the connection between coronavirus and climate change, or at least the possible connection. I talked about disease-borne vectors and their ability to spread more rapidly because of climate change. A year has passed since then, and even though I know I said in my last video we didn't know, but we kind of knew. It's pretty obvious. It's basic climate science. While the Earth's temperature heats up, different ecosystems spread. First, let's talk about vector-borne diseases. Now, vector-borne diseases account for about 17% of all infectious diseases on the planet. That 17%, almost all of them are zoonotic in nature. And zoonotic means that a disease is passed from a vertebrate animal to a human being. Climate change has already increased the spread of certain infectious diseases like dengue fever, malaria, and Lyme disease. As the planet warms up, certain climate zones that are warmer, such as subtropic and tropic areas, which allow for the spread of certain species that are more likely to transmit vector-borne diseases to human beings. You also have to take into account that as these climate zones continue to spread, humans also continue to expand their living territory, and one starts to cross over into the other. As for the coronavirus, or SARS-CoV-2, and we see its origins coming out of the province of Yunnan and adjacent regions of Myanmar in the southern Chinese province, areas over the last century as the planet has continued to warm, and because of that, the natural habitats of that area have changed drastically. Climatic changes, including increased temperature and sunlight and heat and atmospheric carbon dioxide, has affected the growth of plants and trees around that area, enabling more bat species to inhabit it. In fact, in the last century, 40 different bat species were added to that area because of the ecosystem change. The change occurred as the area, which was once a tropical shrubland in terms of climate zones, became more of tropical savanna and deciduous forest. So this allowed for all of these species of bats to start inhabiting it big time. In fact, there are over 100 bat species in that area now, many of which have the ability to transmit the coronavirus to human beings. We did kind of push ourselves over the edge and put ourselves in this predicament. It doesn't matter how many times we try, as long as we continue to increase the carbon and other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, increase the temperature of our planet, we're going to continue to fundamentally change the climate zones and ecosystems on this Earth. Well, what can we do about it? I mean, obviously, it's the same old story. We need to be able to come together as a planet. We need to fight this scourge that we have brought upon ourselves. So, for the time being, you need to wear your mask and get your vaccine. There's nothing that we can do about the spread of coronavirus because of the effects of climate change this minute. The horse is out of the barn on that one. Hopefully, this gives us pause and we're able to think about our future actions and understand that we have a great deal of effect on this planet. We can sit here and not give a fuck about the small field mouse or the polar bear. There's so many species that are endangered because of what we have done to this planet. We lose 30,000 species at least a year. Much of that is due to how we have destroyed the climate on this planet. But it's easy for us to look at and say, well, that's not really going to bother us. We might have to move away from our flooding shoreline or find a place that has less drought in order to grow our crops, but we humans can live pretty much anywhere and anyhow on this planet. The rest of the species cannot. This time around, we fucked ourselves over. The coronavirus was something that we brought mostly upon ourselves. I'm not saying that it wouldn't have happened without climate change if that area hadn't expanded the way it did. Factors point to it being, at the very least, anthropogenic climate change was one of the key factors to spreading coronavirus around the world. That's all I really wanted to say about that. I will try to put a link in the description to my video from a year ago. It goes into a little more depth about what disease vectors are and how things can spread because of. But aside from that, I think I've covered most of it. I guess I will see you all really soon. And don't forget, think critically. Bye. Okay. 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 How do I start my videos? I am Momma Atheist. Change and you know, this doesn't sound right. So, zoonotic vector-borne diseases are transferred to no. Climate change has already increased the spread of certain diseases, as the planet warms up, and certain, what is the word? The natural habitats of that area have changed pretty dramatically. Dramatically? That's not a word. The change itself went originally from a climate zone that was more tropical the change came, climate change, you know.
There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known.